And now for a little bit of a personal history as well as a backstory on Ape Escape. Ape Escape was created and developed by Sony Computer Entertainment Japan Studios in 1999 for the PlayStation 1 as Sony's first fully in-house game developed by Japan Studios. And as a result, this game is near the tail end of the PlayStation 1 lifespan. I personally did not get this game at launch. I did not even know this game existed well until after its sequel, Ape Escape 2, had been released. Ape Escape 2 was the first ever Ape Escape game I played, but a little bit after playing Ape Escape 2, I would go over to a friend's house in which he had Ape Escape 1. And seeing as how we were kids and had no idea on the concept of money or the fact that things cost things, he just outright gave me Ape Escape because he did not like the game. I had already played through Ape Escape 2 at another friend's house and only had a PS1, so the fact that I could play through Ape Escape 1 on my own at my own place was something that I greatly took to heart. I began playing Ape Escape 1 and was hooked immediately. Even though I did not have a memory card, I would play for as long as I was allowed to and then would be able to continue. Fast forward to 2012, I have started my LP channel under the name Roxas1359, and my third ever project is Ape Escape 1 for the PlayStation 1, the exact copy I got from my friend years beforehand. And as a result, this game would actually become one of my more popular projects when I was first starting out with Ape Escape, to the point to where I actually did a redo project of Ape Escape 1, in which I had better equipment, both for audio recording and video recording, and would end up continuing with the Ape Escape trend, even as far as doing a charity marathon revolving around Ape Escape 1 for Extra Life, playing through Ape Escapes 1, 2, 3, and Big Mission for Extra Life as a result. So, I have a huge extensive history of Ape Escape over the 20 years it has been out, and it is something that I have been meaning to really branch off into with newer projects. So, as a result, that is where this review of Ape Escape 1 comes into play. So, without further ado, why don't we get into the story of Ape Escape 1 and see how it all began. The story is as follows. Spike, the main character of the game, and his best friend Jake are traveling over to the professor's lab in order to use his time machine that he had just built and do God knows what to history. After arriving at the lab, it turns out that the monkeys from the intro of the game have captured your friends, and are planning on using the time machine in order to be able to go back in time and rewrite history so that they are the dominant species on the planet. It's like Planet of the Apes, only a whole lot worse. After getting caught up in the time machine boot-up sequence, both Spike and Jake are transported to the far reaches of time, with Spike being tasked by the professor to capture all the rogue apes, in order to make sure that their plans do not come to fruition. The main boss of the apes, Spectre, plans on using his newly found intelligence with the Peak Point helmet that the professor left at the monkey park in order to be able to take over the world and rule over mankind. But you might be wondering, what happened to Jake? Well, Jake happened to have been captured by Spectre and brainwashed to doing his bidding. So, you now have to go and rescue your friend and stop Spectre from destroying the world and freeing the future from the apes. Upon booting up the game, you will be met with a requirement for a DualShock analog controller. Why you would need this controller, you might be asking? Well, it becomes apparent in the first level in Fossil Fields that this game controls a little bit differently than most other PlayStation 1 platformers. In this game, all analog movement is used with the left analog stick, while the right analog stick is relegated to gadgets that you acquire, starting off with the Stun Club and the Time Net. You will end up being told to capture a certain amount of monkeys upon entering each stage. After capturing each of the monkeys inside the stage that you are told to capture, you will be transported back to the time station, for which you can select new levels. Levels are split up in this way. There are different time eras, each of which has 3 levels, with some levels sprinkled in between to break up the monotony. Throughout these levels, you will end up encountering new different types of monkeys, as well as different obstacles in your way, in which new gadgets will be needed in order to beat these challenges. Early gadgets can be equipped using the start menu and hitting the triangle button and assigning the gadget to the 4 face buttons. There are two main types of gadgets. Support gadgets such as the monkey radar, which allow you to look at different locations of monkeys as well as different stats of them. Two offensive ones such as the slingshot, a handy tool for using against ranged enemies or climbing up a pesky wall. Upon acquiring each of the gadgets, you will be teleported into a training room in which you will not be allowed to progress to the level until you beat said training room. And if you ever need to refresh your course, you can go back into the time station and go into where the places are to train with each of the gadgets. This game has many different challenges within its sleeve. Ultimately, most of it is just revolved around catching monkeys, but sometimes you end up finding yourself with a unique boss, so to speak. This game does not have dedicated boss fights at all. In fact, that would be a later staple added to the series with different characters. But in this game, the bosses that are available can only be fought, unfortunately, one time. This is including the final boss as well as the different Jake challenges for story level missions. There are different missions such as the stadium attack or the gladiator attack, in which you are pit against Jake inside of an arena. In this arena, you are to get to the end of the obstacle course before Jake does, and you will be awarded not only bragging rights for completing the obstacle course with whatever gadgets you had at the time or whatever gadgets it leaves you with, but you will also be awarded with 5 different Spectre coins, all of which are needed in order to be able to get every single Spectre coin inside of the game. Ultimately, what are Spectre coins used for? Spectre coins are used for nothing more than unlocking minigames that are available inside of Ape Escape as a whole. There are 3 minigames available upon unlocking every single one of the Spectre coins within the game, and these minigames are widely different from one another. From a skiing minigame in which you can control any of the Ape Escape characters, to a monkey boxing game in which you use different monkeys to beat up other monkeys while your arms are made out of jello. Ultimately, though, both of these games are something I never really dabbled in too much while playing Ape Escape. They're an interesting side distraction, but the final minigame is one that I think deserves all the praise it gets, and that is Galaxy Monkey, a twin-stick shooter in which you go in a monkey saucer and shoot space pigs as well as a bunch of different debris while avoiding obstacles and trying to get a high score in the end. It's a really fun game, requires 40 Spectre coins to unlock, and is something that is very fun to play and can actually be played with 2 players. All of these minigames can actually be played with 2 players, believe it or not. Your health is represented by the cookies in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Every time you get hit, no matter what, including from fall damage, you will lose at least 1 cookie. You can gain cookies back by killing regular enemies inside of the levels and hoping that they end up dropping a cookie, or sometimes they have the chance of dropping a life, represented by jackets. In later stages, there will be cookie jars, which will allow you to replenish your cookie supply infinitely. And, as always, a word of warning, if there are bottomless pits inside of a level, you will lose a life instantly if you fall down one. You will not lose a cookie, you will lose a life. But keeping that in mind, there are also different obstacles in terms of the monkeys that you will be fighting. From regular monkeys that will be the catch-all be-all type, represented by the color yellow, these monkeys will generally have banana peels, guns, or whatever they have at their disposal. To black pant monkeys, which will have guns and will shoot at you on sight. To different colored monkeys such as the blue pant monkey, which will run extremely fast if they end up seeing you, and are a pain in the butt to catch. Almost as much of a pain as the green pant monkeys, which have the best vision and will launch missiles at you from their backpacks. And the most dangerous monkey of all, the arsenal monkey, represented by red pant color, where they will have any type of weapon at their disposal that all other monkeys will have. Music is a very big part of Ape Escape, to say the least. Soichi Terada, the main composer of most of the mainline Ape Escape games, has a very unique style, and luckily Ape Escape has various degrees of different styles throughout its levels. From both themes and motifs to musical aesthetic, it all pleases the ear no matter what. From Krabby Beach on Oceania to even something as simple as the warning screen that appears at the beginning of a level before you are told how many monkeys you have to capture for each of the levels. The music in this game is ultimately something that I find myself coming back to time and time again, with my favorite track by far in Ape Escape 1 being inside of the final level, Spectreland, known as Welcome, in which no music plays for the level until a monkey hits a switch in Spectre's castle after it sees you. After that, the castle seems to come to life, and the music really accompanying it really helps give you that flair that you are in the final level of the game. And that's something that I really appreciate with. Luckily, this game has many different other musical tracks inside of its repertoire that I will not spoil too much for, so go give it a listen, it's great. So, what's overall my recommendation of Ape Escape? If you like collectathons and want something a little bit different inside of your collectathons, I highly recommend Ape Escape for you. Ape Escape is a fun game that knows that it's being silly. Very rarely does it try to take itself seriously, even poking fun at certain cliches that a lot of games at the time were doing. The thing about Ape Escape that I like the most is the fact that Ape Escape didn't design its challenges around getting to the collectible. It designed its challenge around getting the collectible, in this case being the monkeys themselves. Instead of having to work your way up and getting through to get a monkey that's just sitting there, you have to go out of your way and try and capture it yourself. Sometimes that can lead to a little bit of frustration, which can lead to a little bit of the frustrations of this game. But if you overcome that, I think you'll have a really good time. Now, Ape Escape 1 is a game that I really enjoy playing overall. I've gone back to this game numerous times throughout the 2 decades it's been out. And, in the end, this still remains my second favorite Ape Escape game in the series. Now, you might be wondering, well, how do I get a copy of Ape Escape? There are a few ways you can do this. The two main ones are getting a PlayStation Portable and getting Ape Escape on the loose, a version of the game that has prettier graphics and updated music tracks, but unfortunately fails to capture, in my opinion, a lot of the charm that the original Ape Escape had, with the simple fact that there is no second analog stick on the PlayStation Portable, and thus you are unable to do a lot of the gadget maneuvering and gadget manipulation that you could do inside of the original PS1 version. There is also the PS1 version of the game, which is the version I highly recommend tracking down, as that is the best version of the game to really play. There is also, if you own a PSN for Japanese accounts, you will actually have the option of buying Ape Escape 1 for the PSN, along with Ape Escape 3. Not Ape Escape 2, but Ape Escape 1 and 3 are available on the PS3's PSN store. As of this time, there has been no HD remaster announced for the Ape Escape series, unfortunately. I would love to see Ape Escape get a HD remaster treatment the same way that the Spyro Reignited trilogy and Crash and Sin trilogy ended up getting, as well as recently the Medieval remaster that came out, which was a lot of fun to play. In fact, out of those three, the one I think that Ape Escape would benefit the most from would be a Medieval style remaster, in which the game is just given prettier graphics and updated sound design. And then I think that would be the best version of Ape Escape 1. At least, in my opinion. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end it off right here. This has been Neronium, and I thank you all for watching. Let's review Ape Escape. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see where these clips inside of this video came from, check out the links on the side that will take you to the original Ape Escape 1 playthrough I did on the channel, as well as the redo playthrough I ended up doing years later. So, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you all for my next review.